All right, let's talk about a story. It's from a book that's over 100 years old called Acres of Diamonds. Now, I know what you're thinking. Sounds like some get-rich-quick thing, but it's not. Not at all. This is really a manual, a guide to finding real power, real value, in the one place most of us are taught to overlook, right where you're standing. And look, this is a message about survival, especially when you're in the toughest environment you can imagine. So let's get into it. So the story is all about this guy, Ali Hafed, and this quote. Man, this quote is everything. It's the whole trap in a nutshell. Notice what it says. He was poor because he was discontented. It wasn't about the money he had or didn't have. It was all in his head. He felt poor. And because he felt poor, he became poor. It's like a cage, a cage we build for ourselves in our own minds. And that really brings us to the main point here. The big question for you, right here, right now. Where are your diamonds hidden? Because this story about Ali Hafed, it's not just some old tale. Think of it like a map, and it's pointing to a place you've almost certainly been ignoring. So here's how the story starts. It's pretty simple. This farmer, Ali Hafed, he had everything. A huge farm, land, money, the whole deal. But the book makes a really important point. The real source of his wealth, it wasn't the stuff he owned. It says he was wealthy because he was content. You see the difference? His wealth started as a feeling, a state of mind. The property and money came second. And then, everything changed. A visitor comes by and plants this one little idea in his head. An idea about diamonds, about this unbelievable fortune somewhere else. And check this out, literally overnight, even though nothing in his life had actually changed, that one idea completely poisoned his mind. He went to bed that night a rich man and woke up the next morning feeling like he had nothing. What happens next is just a straight-up tragedy. This feeling that he didn't have enough, it consumed him. Ali Hafed sells his farm, leaves his family, and just takes off, searching the whole world for these diamonds that were supposed to be out there. And where did it get him? Nowhere. He ended up with nothing, died completely broke and all alone, a long, long way from home. And here it is. Here's the kicker, the part of the story you never forget. The guy who bought Ali Hafed's farm, he's out in the Gordon one day and sees this weird-looking rock and a little stream. And what do you think it was? A diamond. The farm that Ali Hafed sold for next to nothing was literally sitting on top of one of the biggest diamond mines ever discovered. Everything he was looking for, everything he threw his life away for, was right there, right under his own 2 feet the whole time. Okay, so what in the world does some old story about a farmer have to do with life inside these walls? The answer is everything. Forget the farms, forget the diamonds. That's not what this is about. Think of this story as a code for survival. It's about building a kind of strength inside yourself that nobody can ever take from you. So let's translate this. Let's make it real for right here, right now. When the story talks about your farm, it's not talking about land. It's talking about your mind. It's talking about the physical space you live in. That's the only ground you actually own right now. And the diamonds, they're not rocks. They're those moments of self-control, those smart choices. It's keeping your word when it's 100 times easier to break it. And true wealth, that's self-respect. That's building a solid foundation inside yourself that gets you ready for a better, safer future. This gives us a whole new way to think about opportunity. We tend to think it's some lucky break, right? Something that just happens to you. No. Opportunity is that little bit of space, that gap between something happening to you and how you respond to it. That split second where you choose to think instead of just reacting. That little space, that is your diamond mine. All right, let's tie this directly to what we're doing here with ALPRP. This isn't just about telling a nice story. This kind of internal work, this mining for diamonds, this is the absolute foundation for real, lasting change. It's how you start building the man you want to become. And it starts right now, exactly where you are. So how do you actually build this kind of mindset? It's a 4-step process. Number 1, you have to acknowledge your reality. Look it straight in the eye, but don't let it define you. Number 2, get real, brutally honest, about the very few things you can actually control. That's your thoughts, your choices, and your word. That's pretty much it. Number 3, stop wasting your energy on anything and everything outside of that list. And number 4, you practice this every single day. It's like working out. You're building mental strength. Okay, let's get down to brass tacks. This is about what you can actually do today, right now, in yourself.
You don't need any money, you don't need any tools, and you sure don't need anybody's permission. The only thing these actions require is your own mind.
Here are 4 simple drills to start working your farm. First is the 5-minute mind. All you do is sit still for 5 minutes and just watch your thoughts go by. Don't grab onto them, don't judge them, just watch. Second, the daily ledger. Before you rack out, just mentally review your day. Find one time you just reacted on impulse and one time you made a conscious, deliberate choice. Third, the response gap. This one is a pure survival tool. Somebody gets in your face, you stop. You take a breath, you count to 3. Then you act. You create that space. And last, the identity statement. You decide who you are becoming and you say it to yourself. I am a man who thinks before he acts. Something like that.
Look, an idea is totally useless if it just stays an idea in your head. So here's a challenge, a 1-week ALPRP challenge to turn this stuff into a real habit. We're talking one small, simple action every day for 7 days. Let's go through it day by day.
Day 1, observe. That's it. The very first time you feel that flash of anger or that feeling of hopelessness wash over you, just notice it. Don't do anything. Just see it for what it is. Why does this help? Because it creates a little bit of separation. It proves that you are not your thoughts. You're the one who notices them. And that, right there, is the first step to getting control. Day 2, identify. Today, you're not just watching anymore. You're looking. You're actively looking for one diamond, one single small opportunity to make a better choice. Maybe it's just deciding not to jump into a stupid argument. Maybe it's just keeping your own small space clean. How does this help? It starts training your mind to look for chances to build yourself up, instead of just reacting to everything around you.
Day 3 is about ignoring, but I want you to think of this as a power move. Your job today is to find one pointless argument, one stupid provocation, and deliberately walk away from it. Just refuse to play the game. This isn't being weak, it's being smart, it's strategy. You're saving your energy for what actually matters. It proves that you are in control of where your attention goes.
Day 4, plan. Today, we're going to connect this inside work to your future. I want you to spend just 5 minutes thinking about one single productive thing you're going to do on your first day out. And be specific. How does this help? It gives all this daily discipline a real purpose. You're not just doing this to get through today. You're doing it to build a totally different tomorrow. Day 5 is all about a mental skill called reframing. Here's how it works. Take one situation that's getting under your skin and strip all the emotion out of it. Just find one neutral, objective fact. So instead of thinking, that CO is trying to disrespect me, the simple fact is, the CO said 5 words to me. See the difference? Doing this breaks that cycle of anger and negativity. It puts you back in control of your emotions. Day 6, acknowledge. For this one, you're going to turn your focus outward for a minute. Your goal is to spot one other person making a smart choice or doing something decent. You don't have to say a word to them, just notice it. Silently acknowledge it in your own head. Why? Because this starts to retrain your brain. Instead of always scanning for threats, you start looking for positive, pro-social behavior. And what you look for, you find. And finally, day 7, commit. Today, you state it. You say to yourself clearly and with conviction what kind of man you are becoming. I am a man who keeps his word. I am a father my kids can count on. How does this help? It's how you build your new identity. You build it from the inside out, one thought at a time. All right, so after all that, what's the final verdict? From an ALPRP standpoint, what's the bottom line on this Acres of Diamonds idea? Is it a useful tool for you, or is it actually dangerous? Let's be real clear about this. There are 2 ways this whole idea can go. There's a healthy way and an unhealthy way. If you use it right, it builds real accountability inside you. It leads to quiet self-respect. It becomes a tool you can use to actually change your behavior. But it can be misused. It's easy to twist this idea to feed your ego, to start looking down on other people for their small thinking, or, worst of all, it can become an excuse to just sit back and do nothing. And let me be clear. Insight without a change in your behavior is not rehabilitation. It's just a story you tell yourself. It's a waste of everyone's time. So here's the final verdict. If you are genuinely ready to do the hard work, the internal work, then this story is an incredibly powerful tool. Your acre of diamonds, your real treasure, it's not somewhere out there. It's right here. The single greatest opportunity, the truest wealth you will ever find, is in the space between your own two ears. ALPRP is about releasing safer neighbors, not broken people. This episode is about building that change from the inside,